Dating has never been easier than it is right now, yet it somehow feels more confusing, draining, and emotionally exhausting than ever before. Gen Z has more dating apps, more choices, and more freedom than any generation before. But most of us feel tired instead of excited. Dating apps promise connection, love, and convenience. But what they actually delivered was anxiety and confusion. You swipe through hundreds of faces, match with a few people, and still feel completely alone. Conversations start strong. Jokes land, vibes feel right, and then everything suddenly goes quiet. No explanation, no warning, just silence where interest used to be. Ghosting is no longer shocking. It's expected, and that alone says a lot about modern dating. We don't really date anymore. We manage expectations while pretending not to care too much. Everyone says they want love, but their actions say they want convenience. People want connection without commitment, and attention without responsibility. "I am not ready for a relationship right now" has become the most common sentence in dating. Somehow that sentence usually comes from people who still want to text you every day. They want emotional closeness without emotional accountability. That's how situationships are created. You're not single, not taken, just constantly confused. Gen Z didn't invent situationships. We inherited them from a culture that avoids clarity. Labeling relationships now feels scarier than ending them. Saying, "What are we?" feels like asking for too much. Being honest feels risky in a world that rewards emotional distance. Ghosting became acceptable because avoiding discomfort became normal. Mixed signals stopped being red flags and started being personality traits. Someone can talk to you daily, share their life, and disappear without explanation. And somehow you're expected to be okay with that. People say that that's just how dating is now, like it is supposed to be normal. But emotional inconsistency isn't dating. It's emotional limbo. Another major issue is the illusion of endless options. Dating apps make it feel like there's always someone better. One swipe away. So people stop building and start replacing. Why work through issues when starting over feels easier? Why commit when scrolling feels endless? Dating becomes disposable when people feel replaceable. And when everyone feels replaceable, nobody feels secure. That insecurity slowly turns into emotional exhaustion. Talking stages become longer and more draining. Almost relationships become more common than real ones. You invest time, energy, and emotions into something with no direction. Then it ends without ever really starting. And this cycle repeats over and over again. Eventually, you stop getting excited about new connections. You lower your expectations just to protect yourself. Pretending not to care becomes easier than being disappointed again. Gen Z isn't afraid of love. We're afraid of wasting emotional energy. We've watched relationships fall apart publicly on social media. We've seen cheating exposed online and private messages turned viral. We've watched red flags become jokes and memes. Vulnerability doesn't feel safe when everything can be screenshot. So people become guarded instead of honest. Detachment feels safer than emotional risk. Instead of saying "I like you," people say "I'm chill." Instead of communicating, people disappear. Another reason dating feels exhausting is timing. Gen Z is already overwhelmed with life. Money, stress is constant. Career pressure feels nonstop. Mental health struggles are common and heavy. The future feels uncertain and unstable. Dating starts to feel like another responsibility, something else to manage instead of enjoy. So people keep things casual even when their feelings aren't. That emotional mismatch creates confusion and anxiety. One person cares more, the other pretends not to. And nobody says what's actually happening. If you've ever caught feelings and immediately wished you hadn't, this is why. If you've ever been scared to ask, "What are we?" this is why. Gen Z dating isn't broken because we don't care. It's broken because we care deeply and don't feel safe showing it. We want honesty, but we're afraid of being rejected. We want connection, but we don't trust the process. We want love, but we don't want to be hurt again, so we stay halfway in and halfway out. Emotional availability becomes rare instead of normal. Clarity feels like a luxury instead of a standard. Dating turns into survival instead of connection. And that's why it feels exhausting instead of exciting. This generation isn't too sensitive. We're just emotionally aware in a culture that avoids accountability. We're tired of confusion being normalized. We're tired of inconsistency being excused. We're tired of caring more than we should. Gen Z wants something real, not perfect. We want effort, not games. We want honesty, not mixed signals. We want clarity, not confusion. Dating shouldn't feel like emotional labor. It shouldn't feel like anxiety management. It shouldn't feel like self-protection all the time. But right now, it does. And that's why Gen Z dating feels emotionally exhausting. Not because we don't believe in love, but because love feels harder to find than ever. The culture rewards detachment instead of effort. It rewards options instead of intention. Until that changes, dating will continue to feel draining. Gen Z isn't asking for perfection. We're asking for honesty. We're asking for clarity. We're asking for emotional maturity. Because real connection shouldn't feel this exhausting. And if this felt a little too real, you're not alone. Subscribe, because we talk about Gen Z life, dating, and culture every day.